What is up, guys? It's me, boy Kwis, and we are back again with another video. And in case you've been living under a rock, you will know that in the next few days we are looking at potentially a big balance patch coming to the game. And originally they just said, you know, balance patch, blah blah blah, cosmetic stuff, all this stuff. But Michael Murray's teasing over the past few days has led me and many others to believe that this balance patch is going to be a lot bigger than we had initially thought, and people have been speculating what's going to happen, what they're going to do. You know, a lot of people doing wish lists for their characters. They want this character nerfed, this character buff, blah blah blah. Me personally, I wasn't really looking forward to doing any kind of wish list or this or blah blah, because, you know, knowing the Tekken team, I would ask for something reasonable and they would go ahead and buff electric with recovery again, or do something like make Leroy's down forward 1 +2 on block, like something silly like that, right? But I guess I can use this opportunity to talk about Hwoarang a little bit, who is my main, and guess just say what I want for him, you know, when it comes to the next balance patch and where I think he would be left off. So before we begin, just need to throw out there, if you don't pay attention to the things I say and you like to take things I say out of context, you will really misunderstand how I view Hwoarang as a character. Many people have the stance that I just say Hwoarang's a bad character, he's not good, blah blah blah, but that's just because they don't listen to me, or they just, I don't know, they just assume shit. But I do believe Hwoarang is a good character. I think he's in a good spot right now, and I think there are some things I actually want about him toned down rather than buffed when it does come to the character. And I think that's my kind of stance overall. Like, from Michael Murray's teasing, we're kind of expecting a lot of buffs to the low tiers, or the low tiers, I should say, because there are some characters that people just say are weak that aren't really weak. More, they just don't know anything about the character and everyone else says they're weak, so they just assume they're weak, which is something I kind of don't want at this point. I do feel like the game is already kind of crazy right now, and I think every character is kind of viable at this point, and I think buffing the low tiers can make things really unstable moving forward, and I would just kind of prefer to see nerfs to the top tiers like Geese, Devil Jin, all these characters. I just would prefer to see nerfs for them rather than buffs to the lower tiers at this point, because I feel like that could have a crazy knock-on effect on the game. But with all that in mind, here we are with the game, and I just like to talk about Hwoarang, I guess a little bit of Lydia while we're here. I guess why not, because these are probably my two mains right now, I guess. But first off, when we start with Hwoarang, I think, so first, I guess we'll just talk about Hwoarang for a bit. And I guess when it comes down to Hwoarang, there are three main nerfs that I want to him. The first being is, that's the wrong flamingo, is his RFS back 3. I'd like that to be -13 or -12 or something like that. You know, I think it's kind of a crazy launcher in itself, and I don't think there are very few characters that can get like a meaningful punish on that, and I do feel like that's kind of silly when you think about it. I mean, if you just look at like the damage, this is off axis as well, so I won't get a proper combo, but you can get a pretty damaging combo, 70 minimum off that. And normally what I'd say about a launcher like this is like, oh, its tracking isn't good, so, you know, that kind of makes it, you know, oh, that balances it out, you know, your sidestep it, get your full launch, blah blah blah. That's what I'd normally say. But considering normally you see this launcher come out of down 3-4 is the situation where it just you have to, didn't even do it that time. It comes out of down 3-4 means you just have to, you do take the mix, you know, you can't step it from there. And I do think, you know, just -10 on a launcher like that is a bit strange. Like, if you do block it, actually, can you, I think you can step it if you block it. Can you not? I don't know. So yeah, that doesn't really play a role when it comes into, you know, how it's normally supposed to be used. And the second nerf I want to Hwoarang is, I guess it's mainly his right foot forward plasma blade, is I really want the pushback on this to be nerfed in certain situations, right? Like, if you see like used in neutral here, it's not that bad, right? Like, the pushback is fine, don't have to worry about it. It's -13 because it's slower than its regular plasma blade and can only come out of stance. You don't really use it as a whip punish or anything like that. All right, but there are ways that I use this plasma blade, and let's see if I can set it up. All right, So there are ways that I use this plasma blade that it kind of puts you in a situation where, right, you can't punish it, right? That's how I like to use the plasma blade mainly, and that in Oki situations as well. Like, it's literally a free launcher, and then it's literally a free launcher attempt. If you stay down, you get flipped. I do feel like that's a little interesting. Be silly. Wow, you know what? I struggle to do this in game, and now I'm struggling to do it in practice. Maybe I need to work on this. I need to work on my cheese strats, because this is 100% a cheese strat. All right. So what can get really silly is you can kind of find yourself in a situation like this. Punish. Oh no, right? You can kind of find yourself in a situation like that. That's a setup I use quite a bit when I feel like someone just doesn't know about that. Like, obviously someone could obviously read that situation, block the plasma blade, then duck the backlash, blah blah, because it's quite obvious from that situation. But even still, I feel like that pushback, I don't know, the thing with that pushback is it's situational. You saw like that, it doesn't happen all the time. You have to set up or specific launches and stuff like that. But the fact that it still exists can be a bit, I don't know, it's a bit interesting to say the least, the fact that it still exists. And I do feel like maybe they need to touch the pushback on that. And then I think the third major nerf I want to see to Hwoarang is, I'd say, his active frames on certain moves. Now, people complain about backlash, but they always complain about the wrong thing with backlash. Like, it's recovery. Recovery isn't the problem when it comes to backlash. If backlash whiffs in your face and you don't launch it, that's your own fault, right? If it whiffs in your face, like here, and you're not launching it, that's your own fault. Obviously, this is practice mode, blah, blah, blah. But a whiff backlash in my face, I don't think I've never not done anything about it. I don't think I've ever played a good player who has never done anything about a whiff backlash in their face. Also, backlash is pretty slow. It is a reactable high that comes out of stance that is basically the same speed as a snake edge. So I feel like ducking it shouldn't be an issue. Where I think backlash may be a problem, but why I think it's difficult to balance Hwoarang is when you tweak certain things like this, it can change other things about his game. I think his active frames are probably the issue, because you see that I'm trying to get up and punish, but the problem is I'm doing it too early because it's so active. I feel, if you see there, it says 27 to 30. Look at the frames on that. It says 27 to 30. That means there are 3 active frames there on the backlash. Obviously, this is practice mode, so like I can just go, oh, I'm gonna wait, blah, 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 right? No. But if it's less active, that means you can punish earlier. And I do believe active frames are the problem and not recovery on backlash, because I've never seen a whiff backlash, just not anything done about it. And then I think the same can be said for down 3-4 as well. You see there, it says 21 to 25. That means there are 4 active frames when it comes to down 3-4, which means the same situation goes on. Yeah, when it comes to Hwoarang's down 3-4, what most of them will do is the flappy kicks to try and catch you. Lydia's while sending 2, I learned this while actually preparing for this video. Lydia's while sending 2 actually high crushes a little bit, so actually can beat the flappy kicks completely, which is something that not a lot of characters have the luxury of. I know Lily also has the same thing, and other characters like Anna can just do full crouch down forward 2 or something like that, right? But what most Hwoarang players will do is they'll go for the flappy kicks, and that will catch you doing 16 frame or more. I believe there was a stealth nerf to Hwoarang's down 3-4 where 15 frames actually trade, which for most characters is going to be a win for them, because you get the launch anyway, you do your combo. 14 frames will always be clean if you're fast enough, but as you see there, it's difficult. And why it is difficult is I do believe it is the active frames of down 3-4, because if you do it too early, you block the 4, right? If you're doing it too early, and if you do it too late because you're scared of the 4, you get count hit by the flappy kicks. Now, what every character has the luxury of here is, because like I said, almost every Hwoarang player will do the flappy kicks after it. So if you just stay ducking, there's a gap in the flappy kicks there where every character will be able to launch. I messed up that time. You see there? There's a gap in the flappy kicks. And every character gets a launch from this situation here, right? Even Steve and Heihachi, like they are not exempt from this. Which do I think is an interesting case when it comes to down 3-4. But I do believe the fairest thing to do is just nerf the active frames on the 4. Because there have been situations as well where I'm playing and like I'm stepping and then like I've stepped like the first hit down 3 and the 4 is so active that it catches me trying to whiff punish and stuff like that. I do believe maybe I just think it's the active frames that are the issue more than anything else. And then there's one, I'd say, major buff I want for Hwoarang. I don't know if it's major, but it's something I've been screaming for seasons now. And that is to just make his up back through 3 15 frames. I see no reason for it to not be 15 frames. Like, the damage you get off of it is nothing compared to his down forward 2 combo. And it lets me, you know, let me show you the main reason I want it to be 15 frames. When it comes down to Steve, I'll actually be able to launch him for doing his full crouch down forward too. This is something that Hwoarang he just can't do unless it's literally right in his face, like here. Even there, right? It's very awkward. There are very few times in which Hwoarang's down forward 2 will actually reach, and that was one of them there. But other than that, I think that was the 1 in a billion time that we saw. Oh, there it is again, you know? But as you can see, it is unbelievably rare. And like, you have to be like off axis sometimes, and I don't know. I just want to be able to launch that consistently. Like, it looks like off axis to the right. Yeah, that's it. If you're off axis to the right, you can launch it. But I just want to be able to. And the thing is as well, why I don't think it's that deep, is look at the damage he gets off his down forward 2 combo. This isn't even going to be optimal. I'm just going to do something like that. Boom, 69, and then his up back through 3 combo. Like, this isn't optimal as well, but like, see that just 60 getting a wall touch, you probably get like 62 or something like that. I see no reason for his up back 3 to not be 15 frames, and just let me launch this all the time. I get less damage. At the end of the day, I don't care. I want to launch it. I want to actually do that. And then there are a lot of -15 lows in this game, like some lows that were -16 that got changed to -15, and I just feel like you're just nerfing me at this point. Like, please don't do that. But yeah, I just want his up back 3 to be 15 frames. And then with Hwoarang, just a few hitbox things, like some of his, like for example, I talked about his right forward plasma blade earlier. There are some situations like at the wall where you want to use it for Oki where it just doesn't hit. Same with his back turn 1, like some situations where like they just don't hit, and it's weird. Like with him, it's just hitbox fixes, quality of life change when it comes down to Hwoarang that I feel like would be, you know, better. And this is I want them to return the 2-throw Oki to the way it was before. Not season 3, but before that, where it was an actual mix-up, and like if I do this option and you get, I wish there was actual Oki here. Like, this was, don't get me wrong, that was brain dead, that was stupid, that shouldn't have existed. But I miss the way it was before, where, you know, like if you back rolled while setting 3 catches you, and you know, you can jump and do while setting 4-4, like that was cool. But that's gone now. But I don't know how they'd bring it back without, you know, making that a thing again, so it makes sense. And then before we wrap things up, small notes on Lydia. First thing, I don't like the wall carry she gets off this combo. I feel like it's kind of insane. I feel like if you do a combo and you end it with that, the wall carry you get is just too ridiculous. Like, it's a catch-all, it's a do everything combo ender, which I don't like. When they nerfed Steve's Albatross 2, what they did was they made it his most damaging ender, but they nerfed the wall carry on it, which meant if you want wall carry, you have to choose a different option to go for. With the back 3 ender for Lydia, it's literally, you want the damage, you want the wall carry, you get it, or you get everything. Like, it does so much, it gives you clean wall splats from so far away. I don't think that's a good choice. I want there to be a reason for me to do back 3-1, or reasons for me to do back 1+2, or do something else for damage. Like, I feel like having something like that is kind of stupid. Second of all, the big thing everyone talks about with Lydia is her whiff recovery. Heaven up 1+2, whiff recovery is kind of insane. 3-2, whiff recovery is kind of insane. I think that's about it when it comes to whiff recovery. Stuff like forward 2, I don't think is as much of an issue because it's very linear. You step it, everyone should be able to get their launch on it. I do think, yeah, I don't think that's an issue. Everything isn't coming to mind right now, but with Lydia, it's mainly just some whiff recovery things that I think is a problem. Like, I have launch punished 3-2. I have played against people who do launch punish 3-2 and stuff like that, but they're just so quick on it. you know, they're literally, the moment they see the 3, they're ducking and they're already launching, right? So I don't believe, I do believe it is a bit of an issue, because actually, no, ducking launch is one thing. Whiff punishing it in general has actually been the problem. Like when it's whiff, like I have really, wow, I didn't know that had that range. But I have really like struggled to just get like a back 3 or something on it. Like it's got virtually no whiff. Like I have the, you see the blue around Lydia, that's the recovery. Look how fast she returns to like her normal color, right? That means whiff recovery done. But compared to like her down forward 2, you see she's blue for a while. Like it gives you the time to like whiff punish that. With 3-2, she's just back straight away. So yeah, I do think stuff like that is an issue. But other than that, that's going to be all from me, guys, on this video. The balance patch is coming within the next few days from what I'm seeing, so hopefully good things. I am skeptical, but I'm trying to also be optimistic at the same time, because that's the only way I can be in this life. So thank you guys for watching this video. Please like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.